Go Blue, everybody. Major juicy spring camp news, recruiting news, Dusty May, transfer portal, so much coming up next on Michigan Wolverines Live. And we are back with another episode of Michigan Wolverines Live. Today is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. No April Fool's Day pranks here, but it is the 193rd episode of Michigan Wolverines Live. My name is John Diadamo, and I'm coming to you from an undisclosed hotel somewhere in the United States of America on business, but still here with all of you. We are broadcasting from YouTube. We're broadcasting from X. We're broadcasting from all kinds of places, Twitch. And then if you want on your commute to check us out on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Amazon, on iHeart, go ahead and do that. We sound great on radio. And consider leaving us a rating or review. It would mean a lot. As you come in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share with a friend. We've had some people say only 17 likes. Thank you, Bull. Come on now, people. Hit that like button. Just takes a second. Subscribe and also share with a friend. And last but not least, before we bring on TJ, if you have a comment or question that you want to be read on screen, send us a super chat because that is the only way, pretty much, unless you're a YouTube member, that your comment or question is going to be read on screen. And without further ado, as always, every single Tuesday, we've got TJ Ronin in the house. TJ, we cobbled this together. I was out a couple weeks back, so I couldn't miss this one. There's so much news, so I had to be here. Go Blue. Good to see you.
What up, man? Yeah, go Blue, bro. A lot to talk about. We got spring updates, we got recruiting updates, we got basketball portal updates. I mean, it's crazy right now. There's a lot happening. We have March Madness bracket updates, which I'm excited to show everybody the current trajectory of the March Madness. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll get into it. But yeah, good to be here, man. Glad to see the community. Looking forward to a great show.
Absolutely. So it looks like we've got a lot of people here. We got Marmar. We got, let's see, Blue Wolverine showing all of our members right now. We got our YouTube members hanging out. Yeah, Bull, sorry about that. Yeah, it's one of those shows where, we still want to keep the Tuesday time slot, but sometimes things happen. GT, Stalions has been doing a media tour lately. Been cool to watch him. Maybe he makes an appearance with us tonight. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, GT, because we actually have a special clip from an American hero, a bona fide ball knower who is going to talk to us about the Connor Stalions espionage tier. And encouraging everybody to check it out. So here it is, without further ado. You all know him. Here he is.
What's up, guys? Connor Stalions here. Appreciate you for being a part of the highest tier, the Connor Stalions team. Appreciate you. Go Blue. We need you dialed in this year. We got to make another deep run into March, ideally into April this year. Go Blue. And also, we're going for 5 in a row against the Buckeyes in football. And let's get back in the playoffs and win this thing again. Go Blue. Keep being great.
Let's go. Let's go, bro. The legend, Connor motherfucking Stalions, bro. Let's get it. Shout out to him.
Wow. Bona fide legend here. Recommending that everybody join the Connor Stalions espionage tier of membership. And with that, obviously, it's now endorsed by Connor Stalions himself. But not only that, you get access to our 2 exclusive streams that are just for members. You also get access to make recommendations for the show. This show, yes, TJ and I spent a lot of time coming up with the plan and everything, but Connor Stalions espionage members get a say in and can contribute topics. And I regularly post a Connor Stalions only post where people can make suggestions. And so that's something that we do have a couple of suggestions that we'll be looking at, including for the draft. That'll be coming up, and you can give your suggestion if you become a Connor Stalions espionage member, just $9.99 a month.
Yeah, indeed, man, indeed.
And of course, we also have the Winn Agency $1,000 bracket challenge. The generosity of Winn Agency here. And so I'm curious to hear. I'm definitely out of it, so I know that much. But I'd love to hear kind of who's on top and where we're at there, TJ.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here, John. So we have a tight race coming down the stretch, and one might think 5th place, I'm out of it. I got no chance. What's going on? I thought you were going to win it. I thought it was your money. We'll have no fear. But as we take a look at the standings here, we got Lance currently at the top. We got a few of our Florida friends from Channing Greer, Christopher Gray, Brandon Gamble, and they're currently in it. But here's what's interesting about this, because you see Winn Agency at 9th, right? Well, they have Houston. So if we look at, and this is what I really do appreciate this about ESPN, they give you the group forecast, which is what matters. And they are currently projecting me to win this thing. So now I need Duke to win this. I need Duke. If Duke wins this, I win this. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's the script. I checked out the script before we did this, so I know the script. But if it doesn't happen and Winn Agency, they get Houston, they need Houston to win this. They have the second best odds to win it all. They need Houston to win it. And then if we look at our remaining brackets who are still alive, and there's only, I believe it's 6 brackets still alive. We got Lance Fleury's picks here. He needs Auburn to win it all and Duke to reach the national championship. And then we got our guy here, Bleeding Blue, Auburn to win it all and Houston to win the national championship. So it's really interesting to see the different variations that will require one of us to win the overall $1,000. And then we have Florida to win it all, Duke to win the national championship. And then, of course, actually, they're out. Douglas is out. Sorry for your loss, Douglas. But yeah, here we are, man. So we're coming down the stretch. Obviously, we want Duke to win. That's what we're all pulling for, right, guys? So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about it. It should be, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun weekend. These last few games for everyone involved, I'm sure is going to be feeling, like, I don't know about you, John, I don't know if you've been into betting, but when and by the way, I am not promoting betting or gambling, but when you do have a little action on the line, the game is that much more intense. So this is about to be a good time. And we'll see how it goes, man.
Listen, I'm excited. The Winn Agency, thank you so much for the generosity, being such a great partner. And somebody's going to win $1,000, and we'll see who it is. And maybe it's TJ. If Auburn looks real good. They just clown those losers in East Lansing.
Honestly, they all 4 of these teams, which are I projected this Final Four, and they're just the best. They're just the best, and it's gonna be like the Houston game is gonna be wild because Houston is so good defensively, well coached team. Duke is just elite. Like they have like 3 lottery picks. Obviously, the best player in the draft in Cooper Flagg, and Auburn's again was probably the most dominant team going through the season, and then Florida's just a dangerous team. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But we're rooting for Duke. We're rooting for Duke here.
It's possible they win. I mean, Duke is a really good team. So it's going to be a good fight.
If I win, I'm about to be obnoxious as shit. I tried telling you guys, like, AKA my money. I just want to let everybody know. But if I lose, I'll take my L.
We'll see what happens. Reminder, as people join us, go ahead, hit that like button. We don't have enough likes yet. Come on, it's free. Costs you $0. Just hit that. If you enjoy the content that TJ and I put out there for free twice a week, go ahead and hit that like button. Takes a second of your day, and we would really appreciate that. And it really helps bring more people here to share the content that we're trying to put out there. And we're doing our best to give you guys quality content throughout the entire year, because here at Voice of College Football, it's no off season.
Indeed. And shout out to our guy Douglas, because me and him, so I don't know if Douglas is aware, but the only reason I'm in the position I'm in is because I had 10 more points than he did. If he had 10 more points than me, he'd be in the position to be favored right now. So because we got through the all the rounds up to the Final Four, I had the 10-point advantage. And this is why I am. So he also had Duke, by the way. So this is why I am in the leading the pole position right now. So shout out to Douglas. Douglas, come on, man. Let's root for Duke together, buddy. All right, we'll root for Duke together in spirit.
There we go. So the gauntlet's been thrown. Everybody's on watch, and let's see who comes out ahead in the Winn Agency $1,000 bracket challenge. And with all that said, we have a lot of news when it comes to the spring camp. And reminder, we are going to be there in 18 days for the spring game. Michigan at Voice of College Football will be there. Both of us are coming out for the spring game. So are all the Avengers. Maze Madman is coming out. Maniac, Johnny Olden's coming out. So it's happening. But with that backdrop, there is spring news. And this is something. Now, I'm going to take a small victory lap. Although I have to make an asterisk. No one knew that Mikey Keene was injured. No one, at least that I know of, knew that Mikey Keene was injured. But it does look like, folks, that that Bryce Underwood and Jaden Davis are the ones taking the reps at quarterback, with Herb Street will be in the depth come fall. But I will say, Jaden Davis, his throwing motion's looking a little better than it did 6 months ago. I will say that. Chip Lindsey, he's doing his thing. So with that said, I do believe if Mikey Keene can't play and Bryce Underwood's getting the majority of reps with the ones alongside Jaden Davis, I do think Bryce Underwood beats out Jaden Davis. So let's just tackle this piece by piece, TJ. Let's start with the Mikey Keene injury, which is news, and within the last few days, that's news. To many of us. So walk me through that and kind of where the dynamic is here with him injured.
So when we had Von Lozon on Thursday's call-in show, we actually talked about the Mikey Keene injury.
Yeah.
I found out about it Thursday. We kind of discussed it on Thursday's show. Now what's interesting is it may or may not be a serious injury. So I've heard some rumblings that it is a serious injury and he's going to be out for some time here. And because of that, I wanted to kind of hit on this eventually, but because of that, there's some murmurs that Michigan might be looking for a portal quarterback this spring portal. So, which is why we have those quarterback options there. But here's the deal. Here's where we are. Here's the reality of it. It sucks, because we wanted the competition, right? You wanted at least somebody to push Bryce. And I know those people watch this. Ain't nobody pushing Bryce. It's Bryce Underwood. I get it. But at the end of the day, you did want a veteran presence in the room. That's a positive, not a negative. And you wanted to have somebody that is an insurance policy in the quarterback room, which was kind of the vision for Mikey Keene, once Bryce Underwood takes the torch. Well, the reality of the situation is, John, 5 practices in, one thing we talked about, John, in the debates leading up to who's going to be quarterback one, snap one, game one, my position was Bryce Underwood has to be undeniable if he's going to be snap one, game one. 5 practices in, it's undeniable. He's fucking starting snap one, dude. It's game over. It's not even a debate. It's done. Michigan may try and publicly present it as, there's going to be a competition or it's not quite settled yet, but it's done. I mean, by all accounts, things that are coming out of Ann Arbor, things that are leaking from not only prospects, but other intel, like it's just quite obvious that it's game over. It's Bryce Underwood's season. And he is as advertised. And we're going to get into that, obviously, when we talk more about the spring camp update. But it is unfortunate. You know, in my opinion, I know some people are like, yeah, whatever. It was always Bryce Underwood. It's unfortunate Mikey Keene has an injury right now. I would have liked to have seen him at least battle, at least push Bryce. Because I think we would all agree it's nice to see, although I will say it is nice to see Jaden Davis get more reps and let's see what he can do, especially the spring game.
He's looking better.
I'm excited. Now listen, we all know, let's be very honest here. We know he's not going to push Bryce Underwood. Okay. So we're aware of this. But at the end of the day, it would have been cool to see a little challenging of the position there, but it is what it is. So we'll see, how, if they do make a move to add a quarterback in the portal, but at the end of the day, it's Bryce Underwood or bust. There's no debate. The debate's done. So it's over. It's over.
Yeah. And I will say, I'll take a slight victory lap. And look, I think Bryce Underwood is just such an undeniable talent that even if Mikey Keene is healthy, it's not like Mikey Keene doesn't win this blowing away. Like it would have been a battle, no matter no matter what. But now with the injury, I feel like you just said, TJ, Jaden Davis is not on Bryce Underwood's wavelength. I'm a Jaden Davis fan. Moose and I were on when it was announced that he was coming. I was thrilled. But at the end of the day, Bryce Underwood changes the game. Bryce Underwood turns this from a non-existent passing game to an existent passing game and actually a decent passing game. He's Isaiah Hole has talked about the fact that he is probably better than JJ. Now, that's a big statement without playing a single snap in college football, but Isaiah Hole knows a thing or two about this, and I think he's onto something there.
Right. Because all right, so let's qualify, like the reason why Isaiah Hole would be qualified to even give a take on this is because he's talking to Connor. And Connor saw JJ, and Connor coached one-on-one day in, day out with Bryce. Now, yes, I don't even think it's a debate that Bryce Underwood is the better athlete / quarterback than JJ. The only difference is JJ was the more experienced, poised quarterback in terms of just, obviously JJ is the better quarterback going into the NFL, right? After winning a natty. Bryce is a young quarterback with a higher ceiling. So it's just it's a good situation we're in, and we're just gonna have to see how he handles the lights. And I know, and like I've had some conversations with Marmar and others, and like it's quite obvious, and like with Vaughn, it's quite obvious he can handle the pressure and he's not afraid of it or running from it. He's running head first into it. He doesn't give a shit. Like he's here to play. He knows what he is. He puts the work in. So it's gonna be very exciting, So we'll have to see how or what Michigan does to counter the potential Mikey Keene injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think even with this injury, the Michigan quarterback room is in a much better place.
Oh yeah.
Than they were in 2024. Even with it even if they don't get a portal quarterback, if they go Bryce Underwood, Jaden Davis, and Herb Street, it's still a better, in my opinion, overall talent room than last year. But there are two quarterbacks. TJ, it sounds like you might know about a third, but I have looked at two quarterbacks that are currently wide open in the transfer portal still, and that's Jaden Rashada, Georgia transfer, 6'4", 190. So that's one option. And then also Aiden Glover, who's 6'3", 197, who's a Mizzou, Missouri transfer. Those are two that are currently wide open. There are some others that don't have a green check mark that are projected to go somewhere. But I do think that it's at least I think it's pretty likely that they're going to try with this injury to try to get someone else in the room to try to challenge Bryce and just make him work for it.
I mean, that's the rumblings that's the rumblings. And the quarterback that I'm not saying that I'm hearing they would contact, but one of the quarterbacks that I feel like they should contact is our guy Finley, who was at Baylor. The quarterback that we actually wanted prior to Mikey Keene. I'm trying to remember his full name here. Was it let's see. He was at Toledo. I should have had it ready. DeQuan Finn. That's what it was, not Finley.
DeQuan Finn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's DeQuan Finn. Yeah, like it'd be nice if maybe Michigan, because he should be a grad transfer, quite honestly. It'd be nice if Michigan was like, you know what? Come home. You know, he's from Michigan. I think DeQuan Finn would be the perfect. Bring him in, let him battle Bryce Underwood. It's not a battle, we know. Like it's done. But bring him in to at least back up and support Bryce Underwood, or and let him know, like, look, you let him know when he comes here. Look, we will let you compete with Bryce. Like it's going to be on you to win that on the field. But good luck, So that's who I'm hoping. That's who they circle back to, because they had interest in him before. They did go with Mikey Keene. Let's hope that potentially they circle back here.
Yeah. DeQuan Finn is somebody that makes perfect sense. We were talking about him before Mikey Keene became a thing, or at least a public thing. And I think that's absolutely true. Let's see how this plays out. I think we need at least one more to just round out the room.
With DeQuan Finn, you maintain, like, you don't have to adjust the play scheme. You don't have to call it differently. They're similar. The skill sets are similar. One's obviously far more polished and gifted, but they both have the dual capabilities, versatile. They have arms that can launch it. Yeah, so I mean, that would be my play. That's what I would recommend. And there's no way he's expensive. I mean, in my opinion, it's the right move.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got quarterbacks, obviously a very hot topic, but you see some others just in this film. It's no shock that Max Bredesen is highlighted in this film, who's going to most likely be a captain and a leader on this team. But we've also been hearing some rumblings at various positions, including running backs, and some really favorable reviews of our running back situation. And so maybe some other players that are standing out in camp that some players have talked about, some coaches have talked about. Let's see what do you, in your opinion, what are some of the players that you've heard about that are making a name?
I'd say the biggest, like, this is one of the bigger ones, and we in credit to us, John, because this has kind of become public, but we talked about it previously, as Nathan Efobi stepping up at right guard. Sharon Moore, I think it was, made comments as recent as Monday, maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday, where he's like, well, Nathan Efobi's looking good. He's currently in that starting guard position, because as we told you guys before, Giovanni Al-Hadi is playing left guard, as we shared with you guys, like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, before camp even started, because that's what we were hearing on our end. And then we projected, we were like, well, then who's right? Then what's right guard? Well, we thought, well, Nathan Efobi would make sense. That'd be the proper transition. And it is. It turns out it's Nathan Efobi. So currently the offensive line looks like Evan Link, Giovanni Al-Hadi. You got our guy, was it Crippen? And then you got Nathan Efobi and Andrew Sprague at the right tackle spot. So very high upside offensive line. And by the way, the size of this offensive line, I should have those numbers, but I just recall following them and like, all these dudes are monsters. Like, all these dudes are like 315 plus. Like, they're just big dudes, man. So pretty excited about that. Nathan Efobi was actually a big recruiting win. I believe he's out of Georgia was how they got him. But yeah, he was very underrated coming out of high school. Another player, John, that who is another player who is being mentioned so consistently. The most consistent name so far out of camp is Dominic Nichols. Again, like he's just, the coaches keep talking about him. He is the most common name that I'm hearing from various coaches, that like when they give their reports and things like that. And also we're just hearing behind the scenes that like Dominic Nichols is coming to play. Another player who's making a lot of noise right now is Cameron Brandt. You know, I believe it was Wink Martindale who said that he's looking at Cameron Brandt as a starter. Now he would play the Chris Jenkins hybrid role. So he'd be in the position where you'd have, you have TJ Guys, your Sam, your close end would be Cameron Brandt. Rayshawn Benny's your 3-tech, and then Derek Moore is your field end or your rush end. So that's, that's how they're looking at it. And it's great to hear that the defensive line, and to mention more players, because the other two guys is Derek Moore and TJ Guy. Apparently, they just look like they're ready. They're practicing really well. They're stepping up. They're looking like they are aware that it's their year, because it is. Like it's their time to take that next step, right? Because you don't have the Kenneth Grant, you don't have the Mason Graham push in the pocket. They are going to have to be the difference makers now, along with Rayshawn Benny. Those are the real names, John. I do have some other notes and tidbits regarding camp, regarding the offense, and some other things going on, but those are kind of just the players who have come up frequently and we're hearing good things about right now.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting. There's some discussion about the coaches and about Newsome. Newsome's been mentioned in a few different pieces, and obviously Evan Link. Evan Link and Newsome talking about how Evan Link had his best 2 games at the end of the season. So they look at him as somebody who can not only be versatile, but he could actually play guard, they think. So what I think is going to be interesting is now with the Phobie kind of pushing a little bit, and obviously we'll get that transfer coming in a couple of months. Evan Link is somebody that the coaches view may be able to flip around a little bit based on the needs of the line in August. So I think that's notable, because Evan Link is somebody who 8 months ago we all thought wasn't very good. Let's just be very clear.
Well, guess what? He wasn't. But
he wasn't very good. But
he was an issue.
Things change, and you put in the work. I'm going to give some credit here, not just to Newsome and to Castillo, who's come in, but also Justin Tress. I think is somebody who we were unsure about after Ben Herbert went to the Chargers and became the highest paid strength and conditioning coach in the NFL. We were a little skeptical because of what he meant to the culture of Michigan. Right. And we talked to players who talked about how Ben Herbert was crucial to the culture, was one of the key points of contact they had. But it does seem like Justin Tress, I mean, let's give him some flowers here, because Evan Link is somebody who, that is a strength and at least partially a strength and conditioning. And that he has improved quite a bit from where he was in August to the end of the season.
Especially at the end of the year when guys are wearing out and they're drained and they're dead, they're mentally and physically spent, right? So he maintained and actually thrived and excelled at the end of the year. But one of the things that was interesting, if anyone saw the most recent Connor Stalions interview, if not, I do recommend it. They talked about Justin Tress, and Connor Stalions essentially said, it's the same. It's like, even though Herbert's a different dude, right? But what they are teaching at Michigan, the way they are implementing the strength and conditioning strategies in terms of their approach, in terms of technique, and I don't just mean like lifting technique, I mean technique and or their approach in terms of like how they approach the day, mindset. It's the same crew. Like the crew is the same. The leader's gone. So you have a different captain of the ship, right? But at the end of the day, it's the same methodology, the same philosophy. And Connor Stalions said Justin Tress essentially, like, they're good to go. Like Connor Stalions has full confidence in Justin Tress. He would know very well. So that actually just reassured me, because I mean, quite honestly, the only thing we needed on Justin Tress was sample size. And so far, 1 year, looking now, the next sample size or the next data point for Justin Tress is going to be when we start seeing those weight changes, when they do the summer conditioning, summer training stuff. all the way to fall camp, and they put out the new weight numbers and all that, that'll be the next data point. But if those are like they were last year, which I fully expect them to be, you know, I think we can check off that box that we're just fine at strength and conditioning.
Yeah, for sure. Some other linemen and linemen, the O line is a key focus across multiple media platforms, and we're focused on it too, because BRYCE Underwood is going to need the protection of this line to be better than it was across the board in 2024. Castillo coming in, I think, adds an extra layer of communication, which it does sound like was lacking before with Newsome. So there is apparently an improved communication with Castillo in the mix, but also in addition to Phobie, two others. So it does look like that Andrew Babalola has had some shining reviews, and Grant Newsome says he's going to be just fine. And it does seem like he's somebody who could very quickly be in contention for a top 5 spot. I don't think it's going to happen game 1, but I do think watch the space for Andrew Babalola, because I think there's a possibility that he does have some time in either the 6 deep or even when they go for the 7 lineman concepts. We all know that Sharon Moore likes his 7 lineman concepts. Babalola is going to be out there in some variety. It's not going to be as a starting 5 in the beginning, but you're going to see him. I think within the first 6 games of the year, you're going to see him at some point.
So we're a bit different here. I think you're going to see him on the back 6 games of the year. I think it'll be so, but you know, we'll see, right? We'll see. Okay. But I feel like it'd be one of those things where it really just comes down to, does the starting 5 that they pick, can they handle their job? And if they handle their job, then we don't got to play rotational. We don't got to play, the whole, changing of chairs, musical chairs, all that crap. We don't got to do that, right? We could stick with our 5. We don't have to do any swapping. We'll see if they can handle that. If they do handle that, then I really don't anticipate Babalola to get run until as the year progresses. You kind of saw this with Andrew Sprague, right? Who was a top 100, highly sought after offensive lineman, not to the extent of Babalola, but still highly, regarded. You saw him start to get action as the season progressed. That's kind of what I'm anticipating for Babalola. As the season progresses, you will start to see him get supplemented in here and there. We'll see though. I mean, Ty Haywood's another one. He's on they both are on the same trajectory in terms of early playing time potential.
For sure. And I think if you see him in the first 6 games, to be clear, I think it's in a 7 lineman set. I don't think it's going to be in a starting 5. I don't think it's even going to, you might not even see him in a 6, but we know that Sharon Moore likes, and even with Chip Lindsey maybe making things a bit higher tempo, I think Babalola is going to make at least one appearance. It might be New Mexico Lobos. It might be another more of a cupcake team in the 4th quarter, but I think they're going to try to put him in and just see how he does, maybe in a 4th quarter type situation. Also notable, and this is always great to hear, that Derek Moore and TJ Guy are standing out. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that you're returning starters and people who are mainstays of the defense are becoming leaders after some of these practice periods. So some of these names, I call him TJ, my guy, because I think he's going to have a standout year in 2025. So it's good to hear that the seniors and the grads are stepping up and being leaders in their positions too.
Yeah, big time positions. Yeah, I mean, I got some more here on the camp stuff if you want me to hit on it, or if you want to take another. Okay, so one of the most critical things, and this is big time, is that the offense is turning heads. Like the offense, the philosophy of this offense is turning heads. It's not only is it making recruits pay attention and take notice, which they are. Travis Johnson being one, which we will hit on him in the recruiting update. But there's also just murmurs coming out of Ann Arbor, like, okay, we got something here. Now the thing about this offense is it is receiver friendly and can be aggressive when it wants to. It's not so I want to stress this because I've seen some comments in our last update where people are like, well, we want to maintain our identity, and like, because we were talking about how it has a bit of an up tempo pace to it when it wants to be. We want to maintain our offensive identity. We don't want to lose our power run game. We don't want to lose too much of our DNA, which has made us what we are, right? Well, the thing about this offense is it has the ability to open things up. It's not that they're gonna put the pedal to the metal from snap one, quarter one, right? It's that they now have the tools. They have the tools to handle whatever task is in front of them, right? However the defense is playing and whatever the situation is within the game, they have the tools to do what they need to do to complete the job. So this offense has the versatility to push the ball downfield, get air yards, be aggressive, go up tempo. And it's also wide receiver friendly in that aspect. It does do the quick passes, but it also has the ability to really make a defense pay if they're not respecting the air attack. And the thing about that is when you have a quarterback like BRYCE Underwood, he allows you more versatility in that offense. And somebody had a question. I think it might have even been a super chat. I'm not sure, John.
Yeah, we're going to get to those soon. Yep.
Well, do you want to run BRYCE Underwood? Well, if he has to, it's obviously, I prefer not to do design runs, or if he does do design runs, be very responsible. Be responsible and get out of bounds. Like, you don't got to be a hero. Get your yards, get out, or get your yards and get down. Like, we don't need you doing anything. You don't need, you don't got to play hero ball. Just do your job. Right. So,
yeah.
If he just does that, then yes, then I have no issue with BRYCE Underwood taking what he can get from what the defense gives him. But at the end of the day, we have the tool set. This offense now has a balanced attack. So it looks to have a balanced attack. This is still needs to be proven, right? We're in hypothesis mode. It looks like, actually we're in theory mode. We're testing the theory out. It looks to be that it's in the direction we want. Now, obviously, we will not know the conclusion of the test until we can get on Saturdays. Saturdays we'll know, but the early indications are this offense is in the right direction and what we are looking for to be a more complete football team.
Yeah, and it does seem like in practice, Derek Moore mentioned that BRYCE Underwood has been running on them a little bit. And just when you're kind of factoring in his elite passing ability, if you take that away, take all the receivers away, he can still run on you. And so while his running ability, I'm not calling him Lamar Jackson by any stretch of the imagination, but he can run the ball. And if all receiving options and tight end options are taken away from him, and that's the only option, and he sees an opening, he's able to take it.
Yeah, my comparison for him is a Vince Young.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, but with a Jaden Davis or a Jaden Daniels arm potential. So we'll see. We'll see how they do it. I mean, that's the thing too, is like with him being a young quarterback, like he has to gain that awareness. Because if you watch his Belleville highlights, he puts himself in risky positions sometimes. But in college, these kids are going to be, they're going to. BRYCE is a big deal. You better believe there's a DB, a safety, a linebacker who wants to make a name for himself, and get a lick on him, right? So, I'm sure the coaches are. I mean, I'm sure. I'm very confident the coaches are letting him know, and I feel BRYCE, should be just fine. Just needs to don't play hero ball, and if he doesn't play hero ball, he'll be just fine.
Yep. And a reminder that we on April 19th. We will get our first opportunity to see BRYCE Underwood with the maize and blue in the spring game under center, and we'll see how much they utilize him. I do think that the game might, given the fact that Mikey Keene is injured, the strategy may change slightly because if he becomes by 18 days from now, if he's the obvious and I think he already is, but if he's the obvious like day one starter,
It's done, dude.
they may go a JJ McCarthy approach where he plays some time.
3 quarters.
You know, well, not even that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You call spring game. I don't know. My mom was on week 1.
Yeah.
Go on, spring.
Yeah. Spring game, I think, if he's
like first half,
he may only be in first half. And maybe even we'll see. I mean, I think he needs to play, and I think he needs to have that time against the Wink Martindale defense. But at the same time, if he's gonna be the starter, and they know he's gonna be the starter, I think you're also going to see a heavy dose of Jaden Davis and see what he can do, because he does look improved, and you got to know what you have in the backfield too. You got to know what you have behind Bryce, because there are going to be times when you're in a game against like New Mexico, or you're in a game where you're going to want to rest him, and who do you have behind him, or if there's a situation where the backup has to come in. So you got to see what you have.
Yeah, definitely. And so 2 things. One last thing on what's going on in camp, and then an idea I have, John, an idea that I've not shared with you yet, but I was thinking about. And we'll do it live. But the last thing I want to talk about with camp is the big thing that Schromore's trying to teach right now in these early practices is fundamentals, right? It's the blocking, it's the hand placement, it's the pad level. These are the things they're trying to get out of these kids early, get the rust off of them, get back into football mode. So that's really where we are. I would say in the next 2 weeks, we should hear some more about certain guys standing out. We should hear a little bit more about maybe the identity of the offense more, even though I think we have somewhat of an idea, but it should, the picture should get clearer as spring camp goes on. And we should definitely get an idea of other guys once practice gets more live and they get more practices and pads. We'll hear about other guys really standing out. It's still a little early. One thing I will also add is it does appear that when Rod Moore does return, it's looking like it's gonna be nickel back. It's looking like that's kind of the rumors right now. So we'll see. I will say it to be determined, right? But it does appear that that's the direction that Michigan's going to head when he returns back to Michigan, or back, at the start of the year.
Hey, I wonder who said that. Oh, wait, it was Michigan at Voice of College Football who said that.
Yeah, it was another one we proposed for sure.
Definitely. And look, he had been in that position, and like he does have experience, and they have, honestly, I think they have where they're at with the safeties is that they're happy with the safeties, and now with Rod Moore coming back, whether he comes back late in spring, whether he comes back a little bit later, I do think they're going to be very cautious with him, because and I think they should, because he's an X factor. He can win you a game. You got to be, and he's demonstrated that he can win you a game. So, like, do you want to be playing him overboard in spring and early fall when you know that you're going to be playing him? You got to be a little careful, and there is a player management aspect to that as he comes back to 100%. But I love him in that position, given what we have at safety, at both safety positions. And there's always the possibility for rotation. We know that. We know Wink Martindale isn't afraid to put people wherever he thinks they might be. Even if I think they're out of position, he'll still do it. And so anything's possible.
Yeah, and our boy Juju's like, why move the best safety in the country to a center fielder for a nickel? I think the thinking, the logic behind it, Juju, is Brandon Hillman's ready to play safety. Is kind of I think they want to put Brandon Hillman at safety next to TJ Metcalf. So you have Brandon Hillman. Now this is, I'm assuming, I don't know yet, but I think that's kind of the angle. You put Rod Moore at nickelback. You got Zeke Berry at outside corner, Jair Hill at the other outside corner. Your DBs are kind of set, and Brandon Hillman was showing flashes. He does look ready. We'll just have to see, it to be determined. I won't say that it's so early in spring ball and we still have to get Rod Moore back. We just don't know, but that does appear to be the rumor coming out. I also want to add, John. So here's a crazy idea I have.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So we know April 19th is the spring game.
Mhm.
So, and we're doing a post game. We're doing a post game,
Yep.
but like,
We are.
people are going to be watching it, but they're not going to see, they're not going to know. An idea I have, John, is what if we did another post game after the televised version the week later?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
do it.
down, bro. I think I'm down to do it. So we could talk ball with everybody, because there's gonna be so many people who are not able to witness the game. I'd like to be able to talk, reaction. I'd like to get everyone's reaction after viewing it. So I'm down. We will definitely do 2 post games. We'll do one live at after the initial or the official spring game, and then on the replay week later television spring game, we'll do another one, and we'll have a good time with that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, for the benefit of those who aren't there, I'm gonna try to be spoiler free in the beginning. And then at a certain point, maybe 10, 20 minutes into the show, I'm going to say, hey, folks, it's spoiler time. If you don't want to be spoiled, wait till next week. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, I think maybe a couple minutes, let people, hang out for a bit, and then it's spoiler time. Which I've seen all over, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. But
I think that's a respectable approach, John. But there's no way we're not spoiling. I mean, like if you're coming to watch the post game of a game that we just watched, I mean, we're gonna.
GT says, give me all the spoilers. So what we might do then is maybe a disclaimer, like
we'll just warn you. Hey, we're gonna give everything away here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real too. I'm about to be taking notes with my phone. Like, we're gonna have a lot. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So fine. All right. That's fair. And I don't think we're gonna be able to contain ourselves.
No, after that, especially if like some dudes ball out. No, we're gonna overreact.
BRYCE balls out. We're gonna be excited.
We're gonna overreact, and we're gonna enjoy it.
And after, okay. To be fair, like if last year we had JJ, it might be a different story. But like, given how bad the quarterback play was last year, if BRYCE just balls out, I think we're gonna be too excited to, like that's just and I think that's very possible. So. Why don't I know there's some people who've been very patient with their super chats. So why don't we get to, and thank you all. Blue Wolverine, who's been a supporter, he's been awesome. And I always say this, but I think it's notable that Blue Wolverine doesn't just support the Wolverine shows, but he goes hard in the paint, and he goes over to the Buckeye territory, and he represents the maize and blue on a regular basis in enemy territory. And I see him over, and I love it, because, you don't want the Buckeyes to get too comfortable. Okay. You don't want them to get too complacent, with their little Mickey Mouse national title. So people like Blue Wolverine, that's, they give a little reality check, that it's been Michigan's won the last 4. $4.99 super chat here. Also a Connor Stalions member now again. Your boy Blue had a bit of a viral moment on X. So apparently, and forgive me, Blue, if I missed it.
I know.
But I've been out on business for a bit here. So TJ, do you know what's being talked about?
Well, there's actually been, quite honestly, Blue Wolverine's been quite all over the internet lately. Him and Doreen, quite honestly, I don't know if it's the one where he posted a graphic about what the rivals are saying, like, oh, we want a new rival, we want it to be Notre Dame, or we want it to be Oregon, or something like. Let me see if I can actually find it. If I can find it, I'll pull it up. He might be recalling that moment where that did kind of blow up, because people doubted Ohio State fans aren't saying these things, and then Blue Wolverine pulled the receipts out and clip the videos of these different podcasts, which are actually hilarious. And you know what? Now that I think about it, we should just play this shit, because it is hilarious.
Sure.
If I could find it, which I'm looking for right now. And he pinned it. So it was very easy to find. All right. Yeah. Okay. I didn't even know it got this many views. So here, we'll show right now. We'll all enjoy it together. The other one I was going to talk about is just like constantly the Ohio. There's this Circle of Ohio State podcast. So before I show this, I just want to hit on this, because there's this Circle of Ohio State podcasts. And like, look, man, I don't watch them. Like I don't, and it's not like, oh, I'm too good. I just don't have time to view their content, but Blue Wolverines constantly ruffling feathers. Let's put it that way. It just bothers them. There's a Wolverine, and then on top of that, like my name's been said recently, and that's why I made so for anyone who wants to know, I made a post about Mello and Zach Smith, because rumor was I don't like them, but to be quite honest with you, I've never really said anything bad about them. I don't have an issue, like we have no issue. I have issues with, I don't really have issues with anyone, but if anyone rubs me the wrong way, it's Buckeye Scoop. That's just what it is. Buckeye Scoop bothers the shit out of me just because they know what they're doing and it's annoying. But other than that, but they are talking about us, or well, me, my name's come up. So like in Blue Wolverine as well. So long story short, there's a Circle of Ohio State podcast. They do their thing. Do you? We don't worry about it. We do us. It is what it is. Now I'll share this. This tweet now that Blue Wolverine did. So he posted this, and essentially it's Oregon should be our new rival. Notre Dame should be our new rival. The Big Ten needs to kick Michigan out. Ohio State fans and podcasters, and people were like, "Oh, I've never heard any, anyone say this stuff." And then, obviously that 363,000 views, bunch of likes. I liked it. Let's just retweet it for good times. But then like, oh, that's the minority of the fan base. And then you see right here,
if anybody deserved it, it's Michigan. I think they ought to throw them out of the Big Ten for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to share the video.
If anybody deserved it, it's Michigan.
All right, let's keep going.
Programming, like one of you have said it already. They can't be our rivals. Like this is sad. This is sick. It just programming, like one of you have said it already. They can't be our rivals. Like this is sad.
Hilarious. We got one more.
We don't want them. We don't need you. We don't need them as a rival anymore. 100%. He used to love the rivalry, and get rid of them. Bring in Notre Dame.
First, I don't want to say what I'm about to say, but I'm going to agree with you, David, that at this point, I feel like Oregon needs to be our new rival, and because
we don't want.
So that is what was gone viral, and let's just say bad look for the Buckeyes, bro. Bad fucking look.
We don't want them,
we make you motherfuckers enjoy the L's. Enjoy your 5th L in November too.
The cope is hilarious because I know that if you go to the campus, if you go to Columbus, and they will talk about the Michigan rivalry on campus all the time. They can't get Michigan out of their mouths. And so to say that we don't care, to say this is all cope because Michigan's won the last 4. The rivalry is better than ever, in my opinion. The ratings are through the roof. This is what you want. You don't want a one-sided, like Ohio State won the 7 before, Michigan won the last 4. That's what you want. You want a rivalry that goes both ways, that switches off, and to say we don't care anymore, and to like Sean Schrock, he's a moderator on Scoop, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Bro, he's been coming at me lately, bro. It's so funny. I quite honestly didn't know who he was. And again, that's not a disrespectful shot. I really just wasn't aware. And I'm now becoming aware of that circle. I mean, this group of podcasts, and I don't know, man. Like, look, at the end of the day, we hold our position. We respect the rivalry. I mean, obviously we talk shit, but listen, the flag planting, the friction between these two programs, right? It's good for the rivalry. It's good for the rivalry. And the reason why the Buckeyes are acting like this, because let's just be honest, they've lost 4 in a row, and they're not used to this. They went through a nice era where they had a lot of wins, and they're uncomfortable. They're in an uncomfortable position, and I'll be real. And again, this isn't a shot at the Buckeyes either. When talking with some Buckeyes, they cannot say, well, next November we're going to get them for sure, because they're not sure, because it is in Ann Arbor, and Michigan should be better next year in terms of we have a competent offensive coordinator. We have a quarterback now. We do have a lot of guys returning. We did lose a lot. We're going to lose a lot of talent. Like Jim Harbaugh said, this may be the first time in Michigan history where we have 4 first-round picks. Michigan's had 3 first-round picks twice in their history. So it's potentially possible we make history this April with the talent that we're losing. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, the rivalry is in a good position. I'll say this though, John. I don't care if it goes back and forth. As long as we keep winning, I'm happy. I'm good.
Sure. Yeah. And so let's I love this. I love the cope. I love the what we're seeing. And let's continue. GT with the 5. I love the idea of starting Bryce day 1. Me too, GT. With our schedule, the playoffs are almost a certainty. Get him the reps right off the bat. A certainty is a big statement. I will say that to be fair. I would love 10-2, but I thought we might go 10-2 last year, and I was burned on that. I think it's a wait and see, and I think a lot what will determine it is if Michigan goes into Norman, Oklahoma, and wins that game, then all bets are off, man.
Ooh, that's gonna be a hell of a post game, by the way. Yeah, I mean, look, the schedule plays out. We should be a 10-win team. We really should.
It's an easier schedule. There's no doubt.
But we'll see. We'll see how this offense gels. We'll see if the defense can step up and maintain. We think it can. It should. But at the end of the day, it's a new year, so we got to see what the boys can do once Saturday comes, and they got to prove it all again. It's a new year, new team, and we'll see if they can step up to the expectations.
Oh, yeah, one last thing on Ohio. We don't want to forget that defensive mastermind, Matt Patricia, is the defensive coordinator.
I just want to see it now. Like, I just want to because man, they really have convinced themselves. And guess what? If you're right, you're right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll own it. But because it's quite public, my position on Matt Patricia. But I just want to see this now because I cannot see. I mean, I think it's potentially possible there's some early success because some of these teams have not seen the complexity, which he does. He runs a complex defense. So I'm interested to see how he does that too. His defense is actually extremely complex. I'm interested to see if he simplifies.
He'll have to, or it'll be another Alex Grinch situation.
Because Wink Martindale had to simplify his. So I'm interested to see if Patricia simplifies his defense for the college kids. And when do teams figure it out? Because that's the thing too, is it's not the first, it's when teams start to get a scouting report on you. That's when you got to counter and make adjustments. And that's when I'm really, so mid-season, we should start to see either cracks or maybe it's real. And we'll get an idea. Now what's good is, of course, when we play them in November, we'll have all the tape and we should be able to, and we already know Michigan literally has scouts dedicated to Ohio State in terms of just breaking down their film. And so does Ohio State. Ohio State has scouts literally just breaking down Michigan's film. So it'll be interesting to see the chess match once November comes.
For sure. Les Austin with the $4.99. Who's having the best spring so far? And pick a surprise starter. So I'll say, I don't know about surprise starter. I think that anybody who does wind up starting, I don't think it's going to be a giant shock week 1. But I will say, I mean, Bryce Underwood is killing it. By all accounts, he's killing it. And TJ, who, TJ, you did say, that you were one of the people on the Mikey Keene camp. Obviously now he's injured. So that's, it is what it is there. But you said that if Bryce was killing it, and you said it earlier in the show, that you said that if Bryce was killing it, that he would probably be the starter. And now he is killing it. And that is what seems to be happening. So I'm going Bryce.
So I'm going to give 2 answers here. The first one is obviously it's Bryce because he literally, and now Sharon never said it publicly, but 5 practices into it where we have reached undeniable. We have reached what I was saying would need to happen in fall camp, but it literally happened 5 spring practices into spring practice. So, good for him, man. I mean, quite honestly, good for him and how wonderful for us. Now we'll see how it goes. But the player I'll give you is Dominic Nichols. Dominic Nichols appears to be the name that is just hot. He's looking like he's next, right? He's going to be the next one, which is nice because Michigan has had a very long run of successful, dominating, effective defensive edges coming out of Michigan, going all the way back to Taco Charlton. Brandon Graham, really. But I mean, but after Taco Charlton, it was like, boom, Winovich, Rayshon Gary, Quiddy Pay, Aiden Hutchinson, James, Josiah Stewart, etc. Like, there's just been one after another, and it looks like Dominic Nichols is going to be carrying that torch after TJ Guy. TJ Guy is another one. Like, now he's not a name, but he's supposed to be next as well. So we'll see what happens there. And then pick a surprise starter. Shoot. See, what's crazy is it actually almost looks like Rufus
has one. Whoa.
My surprise starter is this Andrew Marsh. I think Andrew Marsh is going to get that starting X position. That starting Z position at some point. It might not be week one. But I think at some point Andrew Marsh is starting at that Z. Maybe Fred Moore proves me wrong though. Maybe Fred Moore's like, no, I got a quarterback and offensive coordinator now. I'm gonna show you what I can do, and he might. And just so you know, to give everyone the landscape of the wide receiver room, it is Donovan McCauley starting at the X, Samaj Morgan starting at the Y, and then we have Fred Moore currently starting at the Z. I think Andrew Marsh can get that position. We'll see though. It's gonna be up to him to prove it.
Yeah. And this is why I struggle with the word surprise, because is Andrew Marsh a surprise when we even said he would be the starter? I mean, again, it's semantics. If Andrew Marsh is a candidate, then I agree with you. But he's somebody I don't view as a total surprise.
Well, but a true freshman starting at wide receiver is kind of a surprise. I mean, it's not that common. The last time that happened in Michigan, Ronnie Bell did it a little bit, and then before that, we had Donovan Peoples-Jones and Tariq Black, and that was actually very exciting until Tariq Black broke his foot, and he was never the same after that injury, unfortunately. But that kid would have been a first-round pick, by the way. That's a bummer. But we'll see.
Moose agrees. He thinks Andrew Marsh will take over at some point, and it's going to be up to Fred Moore to stop him. And I've been big on Fred Moore, but I've also been big on friend of the program Andrew Marsh and what he can bring to an offense. And so that's gonna be a fascinating battle. Those two. Drufus is reminding everybody, and look, we have almost 300 people just on YouTube, not counting X, where there's people. Please go ahead and hit that like button. Hitting the like button takes literally a second of your day. It costs you nothing. It's why I'm banging the drum on that above everything else today, because although I am going to bang the drum on some other stuff, I feel like the like button I'm going to keep coming back to, because it's something that you can do that costs you nothing, no matter where you're at in your situation, no matter what's going on. If you like the content, hit the like button. And so Drufus is reminding everybody to do that. Thank you so much. Also says, go Blue, Michigan fan. Thank you, Drufus. And also thank you for your YouTube membership. GT with the 5, another longtime YouTube member. When Bryce throws a paper airplane, it turns into an F-47. Our receivers are in for a great season. And GT, I agree with you. And while I have a lot of criticism of Ron Bellamy, and I will continue to until I see with that specific position, look, JJ McCarthy was a great quarterback and the wide receivers still had trouble. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna keep an open mind. But I do agree with you that with a quarterback to the caliber of Bryce Underwood, the receivers should be catching a lot more balls for sure.
Well, we can guarantee it'll be better than last year. And,
absolutely.
This offense will be a lot better. Will be a lot better than last year. I'll guarantee that right now. Now, can these receivers step up and be productive? That's the next step. I do have faith in Donovan McCauley. I think Fred Moore has ability, and we'll see what happens at Y, whether it's Anthony Simpson or Samaj Morgan. Andrew Marsh could make some noise, right? And then, can someone else, can a Kendrick Bell or a Peyton O'Leary, is it their time? We'll see. And also, transfer portal, be on the lookout for Skylar Bell, because there's some smoke that's the player that they're going to be knocking on. And there is, I'll tell you what, there's legitimate smoke that Michigan's going for. They're going to try to add more weapons because they see what they have in Bryce. They see, hey, we need we got to stockpile the arsenal here. So I do anticipate a wide receiver added in the portal. I don't know who it is, but I anticipate 1 or 2 added in the portal. We'll see what happens there. I'm curious to see if they had a quarterback in the portal. We'll figure that out as well. I don't know yet, but there is some rumors that they may try.
Look out. We did already cover this one, but Wolverine not so casual. Bryce is a great runner, but do you run him? I think it's like a JJ McCarthy situation where you don't design a bunch of runs, but in a situation where all the receivers are covered, tight ends are covered, and there's an open lane, if none of those things are the case, you throw it away. But if he has an open lane and everybody else is covered, then that's the situation that he runs. And he's clearly doing that in practice a little bit against Eric Moore, as he's talked about. Wolverine not so casual does a double dip there with another 2. Any news on Moten? Dude gained like 50 pounds. Whoa, that's some beef.
Yeah, Travis Moten, the Kenneth Grant of the Mason Graham of our cycle this year in terms of a former wrestler who was not ranked highly through the process, but had an amazing senior season, like 18.5 sacks. Very fluid, very athletic, very gifted. No updates on him, but he is a player we're excited about. Now do I anticipate a Mason Graham like freshman snap count? No, I don't, because I think he's a little more raw. But if we hear anything, obviously we'll bring it to you guys. I mean, he's a player as a fan base we should be excited about and be aware of. I do anticipate Moten to be a guy, a difference maker. If not year 1, potentially year 2, definitely year 3, I would expect.
Yeah, 50 pounds, bringing on like he's getting ready to lay that wood, like a true Michigan man does. And so there you go. Keegan Imhoff, Will Stalions broadcast the game from his phone to get, to provide that espionage. Great question. I think he's going to be there. I think he'll be there.
He might be there, dude, because he has shown up to some events. This is where I wish the NCAA thing was resolved, because Connor kind of talked about how, due to it being open, he cannot. And actually, man, we should have brought up a topic. I don't know if anyone saw that On3 interview. He's still hoping to be the head coach of Michigan one day. If anyone watched, he's like, I don't care if it takes 30 years. Like, he's like, I still want to be the coach of Michigan. So it's actually it's an On3 with JD Piquel interview. Highly recommend you guys check that out. Because it is funny and it's cool. But how funny would it be if the NCAA thing was resolved and then Connor Stalions literally records the game from where he would sit to, potentially get advanced scouting film. That'd be hilarious. That'd be like the greatest troll. That'd be one of the greatest trolls in recent memory.
It would. Detroit Kyle with the 5, also a YouTube member. Thank you for both of those. Is Jaden Davis really in this quarterback competition? With Keene not even taking reps, where do things stand in your opinion? So if you go back, we did play the film that was put onto the Michigan Michigan football Twitter account. I will say that, do I think he is a legitimate quarterback competitor? No. Do I think he's better than he was under Kirk Campbell? Yes. And is he the definitive QB2 right now with Mikey Keene out? Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Is he going to compete with Bryce for quarterback 1? It's not happening. Boys, it's Bryce Underwood and it's over. It's over. There's like, the debate is done. There is no debate. It is Bryce Underwood snap 1, game 1. It's done, boys. It's done. And that means I'm wrong, because I anticipated Mikey Keene to start snap 1, game 1. Now I did also, let me qualify. I did say, give me till the spring game before I can confirm my position. But my early position was Mikey Keene, game 1, snap 1. Obviously a wrong take. Bryce Underwood has just excelled, and he is as advertised. He is him. Okay,
Yeah.
so no worries. But Jaden Davis, it'll be interesting to see what he does at the spring game. I like him getting the second team reps. I mean, I'm cool with it. I have no issue with it. I want to see what he can do. And he'll get his opportunity. And you know what? The answers or the questions will be answered, because he's going to, I assure you, game one, he's going to play, and he's going to play at the end of that game after Michigan has a lead, right? After, in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, they're going to pull Bryce out because we have a lead on New Mexico, and Jaden Davis is going to go in there. And guess what? We're going to learn a lot. We're going to see if his throwing motion is improved, if he can handle the position, and let's see what he does there. But until then, he's going to get a bunch of reps and a bunch of opportunity to get better as a player, and we'll see how it goes for him.
Absolutely. Jordan's a friend who I've gotten to know from some of the Buckeye podcasts, who again is defending the maize and blue over on the Buckeye podcast. Jeremiah 33-8. Who do you guys think will surprise on both sides of the ball by season's end?
That's a great question.
I think that's a great question, and I think we've got some names for that.
I mean,
TJ.
So I have two for offense, because one of them, I don't know if you can call it a surprise, but I think Justice Haynes is going to. I think he's going to surprise people with how productive he is. I don't think people have fully wrapped their head around what type of running back he is. I think he's going to have a stupid good year. And I do think he's going to be RB1, and I do think he's going to play over Jordan Marshall. We'll see, though. That's to be determined. The other player on offense that I'll give you is Donovan McCulley. I think Donovan McCulley is going to lead the team in yards and touchdowns. I think he's going to be in for a big year, and I think Bryce Underwood's going to target him a lot. And then defensively, it's tough. I don't have a guy yet. Like, I just don't have. I guess Cole Sullivan. I just think Cole Sullivan, it's going to be his year to make a name. He's going to be the TJ guy next year, where, look at him look at the flashes, look at the plays. He's going to be somebody, I'm going to go with Cole Sullivan as the surprise next season. I think he's going to get some run.
Yeah. I think it's we've talked about Andrew Marshall already, so I'll bring him back up. I also think Jordan Marshall is going to. I think people are writing off Jordan Marshall a little too soon. And I think he's.
You calling me out, John?
He's gonna compete. Now I think it remains to be. Those two are gonna bat. That might be. Now that the Bryce and Mikey Keene battle is, due to the injury, isn't going to be a thing. That's probably the best battle that we've got. That we need to be looking at in the spring game, because I think you're going to see both of those two players push each other.
Yes.
But don't count Jordan Marshall out just yet. Those two, I think, will both have time on the field, and whoever becomes number one, I don't think Haynes came in intending to be a backup, but at the same time, Jordan Marshall is a legitimate talent. He was Mr. Ohio. He is he held his own in that ReliaQuest Bowl as the definitive RB1 of that game, and I think he's going to be he's going to push Justice Haynes for that job. Aside from that, on defense, again, it's tough. I agree with you. I think it's tough, especially because of how they do defense and how they rotate. I don't think it's going to be a surprise if anybody produces. But I do think somebody like a Dominic Nichols might put up some might be interesting. And I like your take on Cole Sullivan. I think he's somebody that's going to get some play. So I think there's going to be some shocks, and I guarantee you there's at least one person that nobody's mentioned here that's also going to surprise.
Agreed. There's going to be a guy. Could be a freshman. Could be a freshman that we're not, somebody's going to step up that we're not aware of right now.
Absolutely. Let's keep knocking through these super chats because we got more, and that's a thank you to everybody who was doing that. AD with the 5, also a YouTube member. Bellamy will recruit, and Soup. That's right. Eric Soup Campbell will develop. Wide receivers will show out this year with Bryce. Can Bryce break our pathetic passing records as a freshman?
Well, we're in agreement on the roles that Bellamy and Soup will have, and I do think it will definitely. I think Bryce being there, we should be able to bring in some quality wide receivers. Travis Johnson being one. Can Bryce Underwood break our 25? What is it? 25 touchdowns in a season or whatever is our record or something like that, or what is our record? I don't think he'll. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think he'll break it freshman year. But I do think he. I think Bryce within his tenure at Michigan will break the passing records at Michigan.
So Chad Henne is the career leader in passing yardage, period, from 04 to 07. So I don't know, but as a freshman, is he going to break 9,715?
No, like in a
yards?
season, in a season.
Okay, in a single season. I mean, anything's possible. John Navarre holds that for 3,331. As John Navarre was the record with in the 03 season.
So passing, 3,300 yards for passing yards. Touchdowns are it's 25, man. Yeah, so it is 25. Yeah, we got to break that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he gets it year one, but I'd be willing to bet he will get it in his career. Passing yards, he should be able to get, not year one though. I think, all right. So in terms of completions, I'm not sure. Although, actually, the reality is with Chip Lindsey's offense, you would think with complete, because he does a lot of those quick throws. Yeah, I mean, I anticipate Bryce breaking some records here. I mean, I definitely think he's going to break the touchdown in yards. Completions is definitely feasible in my opinion.
Absolutely. So defending the Natty has answered the call that Connor Stalions put out there at the start of our show. That's right, folks. Connor Stalions at the beginning of the show encouraged everybody to get the Connor Stalions Espionage Tier membership. I'll play that again before the show is out. But Defending the Natty is a Connor Stalions Espionage member, the $9.99 tier. You can see I've already put your name in the ticker below. Thank you so much for answering the call that Connor put out there for us. GT, do we have a punter? Hollenbeck? Is that it?
Hollenbeck is our current punter, but there's actually been some murmurs that the punting has been shaky in camp. So we'll see if they make a move in the portal or if they rock with Hollenbeck, obviously. And I saw some people talk in the comments. Hollenbeck did have a good bowl game. But we'll see. I don't know. We obviously don't get to watch camp, so we don't know as much, but apparently it's been up and down punting in camp right now. But Hollenbeck's the current starter.
And look, punting is winning. You need a good punter in the Big Ten. So
Elijah's always stirring up that shit, bro.
Hey, Elijah with the $1.99. Good to see you back. When is Ben Hall going to the portal? Well, Ben Hall's the RB3 based on our estimation of what's going on. So I don't see RB3 with Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall being 1 and 2. I don't think he's going to the portal quite yet, given that he'll be most likely above, at least in the beginning, some of the others. So I'd say not yet. Let's see what kind of play he gets.
All right. To answer it fair, I think if he were to enter the portal, it would be after this year. Because obviously you have Jordan Marshall ahead of him. You got Justice Haynes right now. I think after this year, potentially Ben Hall would enter the portal. There'll be another year. It's not going to be this spring, I don't believe.
All right. Elisha double dipping here. Sincere Brown or 3-yard screen on 3rd and 18.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get Sincere Brown. So that's another wide receiver who Michigan's currently in the running with. For those who don't know, 6'5" wide receiver.
I was gonna say 6'5". That's a good. We need.
He runs a
some wide
4.
receivers with speed,
Word
with
is he
speed.
runs a 4.41. He runs a 4.41. So we'll see if Michigan's willing to make an aggressive move there, because by all accounts, like 20 teams have reached out to him, maybe more. I don't know. So we'll see. But I would like to have Sincere Brown join the wide receiver room. Now, maybe he meant Sincere Brown, a 3-yard screen on a 3rd and 18. But let's hope not. Let's hope Chip Lindsey does not have that Kirk Campbell in him.
I hope not. Elisha Ben Hall is older than Marshall and Haynes.
Is he older than Haynes?
I didn't know about Haynes. I know he's older than
I don't know that
Marshall.
either.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, if he's older than Haynes, I mean, I guess we could confirm it, but
Yeah.
if that's true, then shit. Let's look. So Justice Haynes, of course. So he's 20, August 23rd, 2004. Ben Hall is, of course, there's a lot of Ben Halls in the world.
Yeah.
Ben Hall is, of course, ESPN. You're letting me down. Let's go to Michigan. What the fuck? All right, sorry about this. Technical
It's
difficulties.
possible he is. It's possible this is true.
I'm looking for some reason. They're giving me Leon Hall for Michigan. What the hell? I typed in Benjamin Hall.
Because he committed in early 22.
Fuck, why are they not giving me his age? What the hell's going on here?
I can't find it either.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I don't. Now I'm curious as hell though. I mean, damn, is Ben Hall? Ben Hall's a senior. Shit, really?
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Y'all, let's circle back on the exact. But I do think that might be right. Let's go ahead and remind everybody that sponsorships at the Voice of College Football are a thing that you can take advantage of. All you got to do is go to sponsorships at vocfb.com.
No, Ben Hall's a sophomore. Sorry, John. He's going into his junior year, but did he get redshirt his freshman year? We should know this.
I saw a senior on 247.
I did too. They're wrong though. They're wrong. I'm looking at ESPN.
Are they wrong?
They're wrong. Yeah. They're
Okay.
wrong.
All right. So let's tackle this. Go ahead, and if you are interested in sponsorships, either on our channel or on other channels at Voice of College Football, Winn Agency, who's been a great partner for us, obviously sponsoring the $1,000 bracket challenge, has talked about the experience that they had sponsoring the Michigan channel and the engagement that has gone up since they started. They even acquired some new sponsorships as a result, or new clients as a result of this sponsorship. So if you want to see what sponsoring, how that could benefit your business, product, service, or personal brand, go ahead and email sponsorships@vocfb.com today. And there we go. All right, folks, we are just we've been bringing the heat today, all gas, no breaks. We got a couple more topics we do want to hit real quick. We do just want to mention, for those of you who are following Tyler Morris and his post-Michigan career, he is out for the season at Indiana. He has a non-contact knee injury. We do wish him all the best and hope that he has thoughts for his recovery, and that he can come back and put some more on tape when he is fully recovered. But thoughts for him and his family on that, because that's never good when you're out for the season.
Okay. I have resolved the Ben Hall Justice Haynes mystery.
Okay.
Ben Hall was born February 19th, 2005. Justice Haynes was born August 23rd, 2004. So Justice Haynes is older.
I was gonna say Haynes has to be
Yeah. Elijah's starting shit again, John.
Yeah, not surprised. Elijah Elijah doesn't mess around. He goes hard in the paint. Any thoughts on Tyler Morez before we go to recruiting?
I mean, good luck. Just good luck. It sucks. Injuries suck. Wish him. It's. I wanted to see what Kurt Signetti could do with him. I'm a big fan of Kurt Signetti.
Me too.
And, I don't know. Good luck, man. Good luck on the journey because it sucks.
Yeah. AD prayers for Tyler. That Rose Bowl
Yes,
touchdown
it was
legendary.
What a play.
Yeah, it was. Without that, I don't think Michigan. I mean, there were a couple of key plays that without one of them, I don't know if Michigan beats Alabama because it was that close, that tight of a game. But yeah, Tyler Morez had a great play in that game for sure. Just outrunning the Bama defender there. Really good stuff. Before we get to recruiting update, I do just want to mention the rest of these super chats and gifted memberships. Both backs were class of 23, Elisha. Yep, we just resolved that Haynes is about a year older than Ben Hall. So thank you for that. And also Browder is showing Fred Moore what a wide receiver looks like.
To be determined. Browder has had some flashes in camp early. To be determined. Let's see what he can do in spring game. To be determined. Fred Moore, we'll see. We'll see how he does as well.
How about this? Stop the presses. Blue Wolverine has gifted 10 Michigan at the Voice of College Football. Those who stay will be champions membership. Congratulations to Cole, Uwisitlo, TT, JR, Landon Lick for the Lost and Unfounds, Minnie Hunt, U of M Burks, Columbus Wolverine, Nathan Penny, and Jeremy. All 10 of you, 30 free days of those who stay will be champions. Enjoy and hit refresh so you can get your emojis. And finally, Elisha with the 5. Tyler Morez is about to produce the same amount off the field. Oh, man.
Savagery.
All right.
Jeez Louise, Elijah.
That's rough. Rest in peace, Legacy Games.
Jeez, boy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, shit. So Elijah knows. Respect again to Tyler Morez, but Elijah knows the Legacy Games, those 36-yard games, 3 catches. Samaj Morgan had the Legacy Game special last year.
That is true. And yes, Cole is facts. Blue Wolverine, you're my goat. Let's go ahead and anybody who has the Blue Wolverine emoji, including those of you who just got emojis, go ahead and hit the Blue Wolverine emoji for the 10 gifted memberships that you just did. All right. Without further ado, I know y'all been waiting. Let's talk recruiting. And we do have some updates here. I'm very interested on Savion Hyder and Javion Osborne, given the fact that we haven't heard a lot about Hyder in recent weeks. But now with the Javion thing, him whittling it down to just 2 schools, it looks like Hyder is back in the limelight a little bit more. So I'm going to pull up his tape and we can start chatting through Savion Hyder update.
Yeah. So, boys, very interesting dynamic here. What? Huddle has ads? What is this? John, what are we doing here? What's going on here? Why is this pigeon on my damn screen right now? What the hell is going on?
Hold, please. Is
there really an ad on a Huddle? When the hell did that start?
That must have just started.
The disrespect, bro. What are we doing here? Anyways, all right. So to get back to it, so the whole Sonic and Knuckle dynamic with the Javion Osborne and the Savion Hyder dream, in my opinion, it's done. It's not happening, boys. It just does not appear that they both would like to be in the same class. You know, they're alphas, right? One wants to be top dog, and that appears to be how it is. So we're gonna touch on Savion Hyder. What's interesting is we all know it's been kind of quiet on the Savion Hyder front. You know, what's been going on? You know, I think it was either early or late January, early February, where Savion Hyder was announced as Michigan was the leader for Savion Hyder, the #1 running back in the nation. And, you know, but it's been kind of quiet since. He's only done about 2 visits. He's kind of laid low, and people are wondering what is going on here. Well, the current update is this. Michigan is still the leader for Savion Hyder, and he will be making official visits when he does official visits. And the official visit for Michigan is June 13th to June 15th. So that's when we're going to be looking out for that. But it does appear that the Osborne Sonic and Knuckles dynamic is going to be dead. And we'll get into why that is with the Javion Osborne update. But be on the lookout for that. Michigan does have some work here. This isn't a gimme. This isn't a lock. Georgia's making a move. Ohio State's making a move. And Tennessee is doing Tennessee things, which what I mean by that is McDonald bag season. They're trying to make a play. And, you know, we'll see if they can. Obviously, you know, we think Michigan's in a great spot. There is a strong belief that the NIL is extremely healthy here. And we're going to find out how this transpires. And then this rotates us right into Javion Osborne, John. And what's interesting is Javion Osborne, Tashard Choice was the running backs coach for, I believe it was Tashard Choice. I should know this because he was the running backs coach for Texas. He left Texas, came to the Detroit Lions to be the running back coach for the Detroit Lions. And because of that, that was Javion Osborne's best relationship. And once that occurred, it was actually projected that he was going to be coming to Michigan because Michigan was already a major player. In December, it was actually believed that Javion Osborne in Michigan, it was like Michigan was #1 for Javion Osborne. Then Texas kind of had the momentum, and then Texas loses their running back coach. And then it appeared that it looked as though Michigan was the clear leader again. And they were. But he did do a visit recently. And that visit was to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame just recently, Javion Osborne put out a graphic of a top 2. And the top 2 is Michigan, Notre Dame. Now, what makes this interesting is Notre Dame is playing very aggressive here. They want Javion Osborne. They have an aggressive NIL strategy for Javion Osborne. And it does appear that Notre Dame has the edge in this recruitment. And it does appear to be trending that way. What's also interesting is Michigan does have an unofficial visit scheduled with Javion Osborne on the 19th, which is the spring game. So if there is an opportunity to swing momentum back, it's going to be that spring game. So we'll see. You know, that's the update. So the current trajectory is Notre Dame has a slight edge. He is looking to visit Michigan on the 19th. If he makes the visit, there's opportunity to reclaim the lead. If he doesn't make the visit, that's going to be as telling as it gets. We will know our answer. April 19th is give us a much clearer picture on the Javion Osborne saga, but it does appear Notre Dame has made a move here. And it's potentially possible that, you know, because of the whole Sonic and Knuckle dynamic, that each one would prefer to be, it does appear that they don't, you know, one wants to be in the class versus the other. Like, it doesn't appear that they want to be a duo. So that's kind of where we are. The good news is Michigan's in the race for both of these guys, and they're both elite backs. So we'll see how this concludes. In my opinion, Savion Hyder is the best back of the two. So I'm hoping we get Savion Hyder, but we'll kind of see how this, trends, because right now it's a very interesting dynamic, and Michigan is in a position where neither one is a lock. So Michigan's got to do their best here. Next player we're going to talk about is a personal favorite of mine, John, and that's Marky Walbridge. So Michigan, this is an offensive lineman who is, I believe, and let's double check here, John. I believe he's ranked in the 200s. I could be wrong. It could be the 400s. I don't even know. Marky Walbridge is actually, the 400s. All right, so it was the 400s. Michigan looks at him as a top 150 overall prospect. Like, they look at this guy as a big time player. big time player. We've showed us huddle tape before. I'm sure we'll show it again in the future. But this is an extremely athletic offensive lineman. He is 6'6", 270 pounds. He is so versatile in terms of he moves like not a tight end, but like if there was a gap between offensive lineman and tight end, he's there. I mean, he's very athletically gifted for his size. He could easily play guard, especially when they're going after the guys they're going after, like Malachi Lee and some of the others, like Zayden Crimpin and all that. So this is a player that I want everyone to pay a very close attention to, because I do believe he's leaning right now, or he's trending right now to be in Michigan's recruiting class. And right now, Michigan is going to have him for an official visit at some point in June. But there has been a crystal ball placed by Steve Lorenz of 247. I want to make everyone aware of this. So it does look like Michigan is in a very good position. We already have our guy Bear McWhirter in the class. This could potentially be the next offensive lineman in this class, which is already shaping up to be a very physically aggressive offensive line group. Both these guys are very similar in DNA in terms of place to the end of the whistle, dirtbag mentality, and pancaking everybody in front of them. So big fan of Marky Walbridge. We'll see where that one goes. And then this is the other player that this is my I guess my recruiting crush outside of Carter Meadows. So Carter Meadows and Travis Johnson. Travis Johnson came for another visit, guys. His second visit in just recent weeks.
Look out.
His mom is a major fan of Michigan. Travis Johnson really enjoys Michigan. What has been really big here for Travis Johnson, the reason why they came is because they wanted to see this new offense. They wanted to see this Chip Lindsey offense. What does Bryce Underwood look like? And by all indications, check. It looks, they feel the offense looks very good. They could see themselves in this offense. And Bryce Underwood is this is one of those recruitments, guys, where Bryce Underwood is personally recruiting Travis Johnson to Michigan, spending a lot of time with him. And one of the things that Michigan is pitching, and we talked about this on our show, that early playing time angle. They're telling Travis Johnson, you come to Michigan, there's an opportunity for you. There's a pathway for you to get on this field early and play with Bryce Underwood. So his next visit to Michigan is going to be June 13th. So let's be on the lookout for that. I think Michigan's in a great spot for Travis Johnson. I do anticipate Michigan's going to be aggressive here. And Travis Johnson, along with CJ Sadler, who I feel very optimistic will be in this class, is an excellent duo. You have your Y, you have your Z. We just got to get an X. And this wide receiver class is going to be the best since the 2017 wide receiver class. And mind you, the 2017 wide receiver class was stupid elites. For those who don't know, that is the Nico Collins, the Tariq Black, the Oliver Martin.
Nico.
And Nico Collins. Yeah, right. I'm missing one. Tariq Black, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, yeah.
Yeah, that class was absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunately, it didn't fully live up to its potential. So let's be on the lookout for Travis Johnson there. The next player we're going to talk about it's so interesting. So this is Brock Harris, the number 3 tight end in the nation. He just visited Michigan again. And what's real interesting is he just put out a commitment post today that he's going. Yes, you already got it, John. We didn't even talk about it. He put out a commitment post April 7th, which is my birthday, by the way. He is going to be making a decision. And what makes this really interesting is this looks like a Michigan BYU battle, guys. And what's also interesting about this recruitment is Brock Harris is essentially a 2027 because he's another one of these that's going to be going on a mission. So he's also Mormon. He's going to be going on a mission. And Michigan's looking at him as a 2027. And for 2026, Matt Ludwig, who we're big fans of, Moose. He is currently the tight end that Michigan is focusing on for 2026. So if you can get Matt Ludwig this class, you get Brock Harris for 2027. Well, essentially you'd get him here, but he'd be your 2027 guy. That's big time. That's a big time. That's big time for Michigan. So let's be on the lookout because he's committing in 6 days. And I'm sure by next show, although I think the 7th is a Monday, ain't it? It is. So maybe we'll have something for you guys on Thursday.
Avengers assemble.
Oh, shoot. We do have the Avengers Assemble show Monday, my birthday. I might have to miss that, John. I might be going out that night, but I'll let you guys know. Maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't. We'll find out. But yeah, interesting situation here. Juju saying it's BYU or Utah. We'll see, man. I think Michigan made a play here, and I'm pretty confident Michigan's in the running. So we'll find out. We got Damari Simeon. This is the defensive tackle. We've had a lot of people asking, who is the defensive tackles that Michigan's currently targeting? This is one that Michigan is very high on. Right now, Penn State is kind of the leader, but Michigan's trying to make a move here, be the aggressor. And the very next step for Michigan here is going to be landing an official visit for June. And that'll be when Michigan can really potentially take that lead back. So we'll see if they have, they have the ability to do so. But that is currently the defensive tackle that Michigan is targeting right now, high on their board. Be on the lookout for Damari Simeon. There is a belief that Michigan has a lot of money allocated to the defensive line. They really want a strong defensive line class this year. And the next player we're going to talk about is big time, Titan Davis. Another one who's going to be going up for the all-name award, Titan Davis. So this guy is a 6'5", 200, and let's confirm. I heard that he was up to 280. Let's just see what the profile has on. So Titan Davis is the number 7 overall edge in the nation, guys. But he'd be playing what we would call a close end. So I've heard he's up to 260 now. His profile says about 240. Who knows?
Yeah, I see 250 in a couple different places.
Yeah, I've heard he's up to 260. So, we'll see. We'll see if how it goes. But envision this. Titan Davis, Carter Meadows. Titan Davis, Carden effing Meadows. That'd be big time if we can land both these guys, which they're trying to do right now, because one would play the other. So you'd have your rush end in Carter Meadows, you'd have your close end in Titan Davis, and you would have a serious problem for offenses for the next 3 years, because they probably wouldn't play their freshman year. But for 3 years, they'd be a problem. And so be on the lookout for Titan Davis. Name to know. Michigan's really high on him. He has a good relationship with Esposito, and I feel like Michigan's in a great spot with this. They've really done a lot in recent weeks. He did visit March 21st through the 23rd, so he just got here. By all indications, it was a great visit. Let's see what Michigan can do here. But Titan Davis, Carter Meadows, those are my 2 edges that I've pretty much committed myself to. If we don't get them, I will be sad.
Number 2 player in Missouri, number 7 defensive lineman. His ability to get on the edge, I love this player. You can just watch the film. You can see what he would bring to a Wink Martindale defense. Just really, really strong player.
Yeah, it's exactly. The film don't lie. So we also have our next player we're going to hit on is Jordan Thomas. Now this is interesting because he's represented by the same agent as Travis Johnson. Both these guys are out of Virginia. He visited Michigan over the weekend with Travis Johnson. It's his second visit within 2 months. Michigan's extremely high on him, cornerback, and they're working hard to get him into the class. He's making a decision in spring. He's not going to let this play out. Michigan is currently in a very good spot for him. We're battling Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Auburn, and USC. What's also interesting about Jordan Thomas is he's one of those players who's been wearing a lot of Michigan gear. He wears a lot of Michigan gear when he does his workouts. He's got like the gloves and the towel and all that. So I think we're in a good spot here. It's still too early to call. Is it trending Michigan right now? Is it not? And the reason why it's early is because there's a couple other teams in this race he will be visiting. But I do think Michigan's in a good spot, and we're going to be on top of this one. I think this is another player. I'm confident in saying this is a player that we really need to get familiar with because he could potentially end up in this class. And the next player we're going to talk about, John, and this is Donald Tabron. We talked about him last week. He is a 2028, and you may be saying, why are we talking about a 2028 in 2025? Because he's the next one. He's your next Dante Moore. He's your next Bryce Underwood. He's the next elite quarterback who has been identified at such a young age, who is coming out of the state of Michigan that people are projecting to be ranked very highly in 2028, and that is Donald Tabron. He did visit March 29th. He is considered to be one of the top quarterbacks for 2028. And what makes this very interesting for those who are not familiar or did not see our episode last week, Bryce Underwood has a mentorship big brother relationship with Donald Tabron. Donald Tabron is a part of the Sound Mind, Sound Body, just like Bryce Underwood. So we have a very good in here. As you guys know, NIL is healthy, so that's not an issue. As you know, Michigan, best players in Michigan go to Michigan. I mean, we know this. So it looks like we're in a great spot. It's really early. Michigan did very well on this recent visit, and by all accounts, guys, I don't want to say all accounts, but the vibe out of Ann Arbor is that Michigan is the team to beat this early in the recruitment. Now, he's not committing this year. He's not committing next year. It probably would be a 2027 commitment, potentially end of 2026 type of situation. Quarterbacks like to get in early so they can build their class, get momentum going. But it's a player we will keep our eye on because he is a homegrown talent, and he's going to be a very good player when it's his year to be to commit to a school. So we'll be on the lookout for that. That's big time, because if hypothetically we got Bryce Underwood, we pull Ryder Lyons, and then you get Donald Tabron, boys, the quarterback position would be set until 2031. Let's do it. Let's go for it. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Very interesting recruitment that we'll be on top of.
Yeah, for sure. He's the future. If you can pull somebody like him after Bryce, they might have one season potentially of overlap, maybe not. But I feel like that would be great. So watch out for those. We do have one more topic. And that is the Dusty May dramatic turnaround. So not only are we a football school, we are a basketball school again, and going from 8-24 last season to the Sweet 16 in just one season is about as great a turnaround as you can ask for. And so the question really is, how do you pull it off? And it seems like he may be utilizing some of those tactics again already in the portal. So let's talk about it a sec. What do you think went into this immediate turnaround to a contender?
Well, just great play. Well, I mean, overall coaching. I mean, we know Dusty May is just an excellent coach, but obviously it was just scouting and player identification. I mean, our starting lineup was completely transfers. Every single one of them was a transfer, right? So it was just, and a lot of the role players were transfers, right? There was a couple of homegrown guys, but like Cheddar. But at the end of the day, I mean, Dusty May just did a great job of talent identification and did a great job of player development. And that's what Dusty makes. And he's just an X and O's coach. He's an X and O's coach. He does a great job of development. He has a great eye for talent. And now we're about to enter another era of transfer portal, which we're currently in. And we've already landed two guys that we will talk about, in Elliot Cadeau and Morez Johnson Jr. But at the end of the day, Dusty, this is what he does. And as he brings in his own talent through recruiting, builds a foundation through development, we should be in a great spot, guys. And we did a Sweet 16 run. We won a Big Ten tournament. The basketball program is in a fantastic position. It does have additional resources since the Dusty May contract for NIL and all that. Yeah, I mean, listen, we should have a dominant basketball and football program for years to come. We're in a great spot right now at the University of Michigan.
Yeah, it's great to see. Obviously, a big transfer pickup. There will be some transfers out as well. That's just the nature of,
like Trey Donaldson, who just entered the transfer portal.
Trey Donaldson is who I was thinking about exactly.
Yeah, and also we lost Walters, who we kind of told you since February that was going to happen, because yes, he has an injury, which that is real, but his parents weren't happy with playing time and things of that nature. So there were rumblings that he was going to be hitting the portal at the end of the year anyways, and that did transpire. So it is what it is. You're going to lose some, you're going to get some, and John, we can kind of hit on who we did add and what do they mean to Michigan, where do they fit. So one player I do want to hit on is Owen Freeman. I told you guys And so I got to take an L here, but I'll kind of give you the background. I told you Owen Freeman was trending Michigan. Michigan had a very aggressive offer. It was in the mid $1 million range. Well, Creighton landed Owen Freeman. He was the Iowa transfer, former Big Ten freshman of the year, and a big time player who would have fit Dusty's system so well. Well, Creighton has what we would call FU money for basketball. They have, because they don't have a football program, so a lot of their donors are giving to the basketball program, and they were able to land. The rumors are Owen Freeman got a $2 million deal. So that's kind of, so they upped Michigan's offer by $500,000, and we'll see. Just from like, that's just kind of the rumors and how that went down. But it is what it is. So Michigan still has, they move forward. We have landed Elliot Cadeau. I want to share with you, John. I had an individual message me who's like an analytics freaking guru.
Okay.
He goes by the name of Evan. But yeah, I don't even know. But guess what? He has one of those last names. He's smart. He's smart. So he did an analytical breakdown. And in every Michigan, he must have reached out to like every Michigan account or like every Michigan host or whatever, because I saw a lot of people sharing the same thing. I shared this also. He did an analytical analysis where essentially, and I'll just share this here. Overall, he's in the 98th percentile. Offense, he's in the 99th percentile. In defense, he's in the 95th percentile. Now, one thing I will stress, because when we first landed Elliot Cadeau, the first thing that sticks out is his free throw shootings, like in the upper 60s. His 3-point shootings in the low 30s, which you can see here. He's in the 35th percentile for shooting, 3-point shooting, and for free throws, he's in the 35th percentile. Obviously not good. But why would Dusty May target Elliot Cadeau, the former number 12 player overall in the nation, 5-star? And the reason being is because he's a playmaker. He like has an amazing assist. He would have led Michigan in assist to turnover ratio, even though his turnover grade is in the 1 percentile and is an F. That's how bad the turnovers were at Michigan. We were averaging like 14.6 or 8 a game, something absolutely insane. You should be around 10, just so people have a comparison. We were around 14.6 or 8 or something. It might even have gotten to 15. I don't even know. But long story short, what you have here is an experienced guard who should be able to direct the offense. Now, if I am going to, what is my concern? My concern is he's not going to be able to stretch the floor. It's going to make it harder on our bigs. He obviously can play. He obviously has defensive ability. On-ball defender, stuff like that. But he's not a complete player, guys. He has his flaws. Now, hopefully, Michigan can improve on these free throw numbers and these shooting numbers, and he can become a more balanced player. But this is kind of what we're looking at here. Now, overall, our guy Evan here, he does think this is an A overall addition. So, to be determined. I mean, personally, I did prefer we landed. All right, so a big pet peeve for me. I hate when my point guard can't shoot threes. I hate that. That's like one of my most. I hate it. Because defenses start to cheat. They start to. They don't go over screens. They go under screens. They collapse. They collapse when you drive. They collapse the defense. They make it so much harder on your bigs. It's tough. It's tough. But we have seen, like my guy. Shoot, who was the point guard? Why can't I remember the Pitbull for Michigan? Short guy. He was on Detroit Pistons practice squad. Why am I not remembering his name right now? He was doing the hook shots. Someone in the chat, help me out here. I know the chat knows. Anyways, he obviously had challenges shooting threes. But long story short, it's a quality addition, but I think it does limit our offensive potential here. Xavier Simpson, my guy, appreciate you in the chat. Xavier Simpson was an excellent on-ball defender, playmaker, and had a very good ability to drive and get the bucket, and had a hell of a hook shot. So we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. To me, I would grade this as like a B- addition, but we'll see. Next player we're going to hit on here, John, is Morez Johnson. So I'm going to share this tab here. Morez Johnson was a freshman, so you are getting a very raw ball of clay. His freshman year, he averaged, and I want to point this out. He only started 8 games, guys. 7 points a game, 6.7 rebounds in just 17 minutes. A lot of people are very high on Morez Johnson. They think there's a lot of potential here. He was also ranked very high. He was a top 30 overall recruit coming out of high school. A lot of potential with him. This is a very good addition. So he will be playing, from my understanding, the 5, but he does have some 4 versatility. For those who don't know, the 5 is the center position. The 4 is the power forward position. So there is a little versatility here, but I do believe the expectation is he will be playing the 5. So, we'll see. Michigan is not done. Michigan is going to be pursuing more targets in the transfer portal. Quite honestly, there is a belief that Michigan is about to land some big time names. There's a lot of confidence that Michigan is not done being aggressive here. So we're just gonna have to be on the lookout and see, how this trends and what does Michigan end up with at the end of the portal.
And Detroit Kyle is wondering about the, we've been talking about the bags and we've been talking about NIL. Is there any possible way we throw a big enough bag at Wolf to stay one more year?
Yeah.
I absolutely love his game. He seems to love the block M.
All right. So I have heard that Michigan will make an attempt, but there is a strong belief he's going to be going to the NBA draft. So Michigan will make an attempt, a respectable offer. And we'll see if it's enough to persuade him. But what a lot of these kids will do is they'll go through the NBA draft process. They'll get an analysis or a projection on where they'll land, and then kids decide then, do I want to go in or do I want to come back to college? I anticipate Wolf will be gone, but you never know in the NIL world. Maybe one of our donors wakes up tomorrow and says, you know what? I want him back. So you never say never, but it does appear that he will be heading pro.
Well, Detroit Kyle, let's see what happens. It would be great to keep him one more year, but we know that with a player of that caliber, he might be going.
Honestly, he, in my opinion, he should come back one more year, because if he comes back one more year, he'll be like a top 7 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe top 8 the latest. I mean, now I do know the NBA kind of frowns upon upperclassmen, so you do actually sometimes lose value for being in college for too long. But I don't know where he's gonna be drafted, because he does have a turnover issue. The NBA is gonna eat him alive on that shit. He's got to be so careful. So we'll see. To be determined.
To be determined. And what's not to be determined is we got every single week for you. We have 2 live streams. And we do have one coming up, I believe this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Michigan Wolverines call-in show live. Got anything exciting on deck for that one? Yeah,
so this Thursday I will be having college? Oh shit, I should got it. Hold on. Yeah, I do. I have a special guest here. And my special guest, I just want to make sure I say the name correct. And it is College Football with Sam. All right, I just want to make sure I got that one right.
Oh, nice.
He'll be joining me as a guest. College Football with Sam will be there Thursday, so we'll be talking ball. Looking forward to it, and we should have a good show.
Everybody, check it out Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Michigan Wolverines call-in show live with TJ and special guest College Football with Sam. So that's exciting. One more reminder.
I think we missed one from Elijah.
Oh, did we?
And Kyle threw another one.
Okay. So Samaj the Flame Morgan, 7 catches, 9 yards, and 3 glittery mouthpieces per game. So another receiver comment there. Thank you, Elisha, as always, for your contributions.
Do you think Elijah's going to get a Samaj Morgan jersey?
You never know. Anything's possible.
You never know. Hopefully we meet Elijah at the spring game. I hope to meet him.
I hope so too. Time to start spamming Portnoy, fam. Let's get him back, boys. So, let's get Portnoy on this. That's a great idea, Detroit Kyle. We appreciate you being here all show and helping out and giving your comments.
Yeah, I know he's usually working, so shout out to Detroit Kyle.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. We will see you. We will see TJ Thursday, and then obviously we'll be back again next Tuesday night for another episode. Thanks everybody for whatever you were able to make happen, even if it was just hitting the like button. Hitting the like button helped bring this show up. There were quite a few people here for an off-season show, and that's because everybody was hitting the like button. They were telling their friends, and that's how this thing continues to propel. It's because of everybody here, and it's because of our community, which is an incredible community. And I'm very thankful to everybody here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, again, appreciate everyone who contributed to the show. It means a lot to us. Blue Wolverine, thank you for your generosity. You're good, John. I'm covered. I got you. And for real though, Elijah, AD, Detroit Kyle, I don't want to miss anyone. Keegan, Wolverine Casual, GT, Drufus, Lee Austin. And then I know I'm missing Jordan. Shout out to Jordan, AD. I got AD. But yeah, thank you everybody who contributed tonight. It does mean a lot to us. It does mean a lot to us. It really does. So appreciate that. Thank you everybody who liked the show. Thank you everybody who watched, was a part of this. We appreciate you. Thank you to all of our members, and thank you to the Buckeyes who are lurking. We appreciate you too.
Yeah. Yes. The Buckeyes that are lurking. It's always a great time. When you guys are hate watching, it's always appreciated.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Absolutely. Especially Doreen, who's one of our mods. Garrison comes by and he might talk some shit, but he's a good dude. And beyond. So my hotel Wi-Fi is clearly starting to give out, but it did make it 2 hours, so that's pretty good. All right, y'all. We will see you next time. Go Blue, and we'll see you soon.
Go Blue.